This is the world's first ever RC drift chassis with a full carbon integrated roll cage. But will it actually make the car better, or is it just for looks? I couldn't find a single RC drift car with a carbon fiber roll cage built into the chassis, especially front motor rear wheel drive setups. So I built one. Is it a breakthrough, or is it just hype? Let's find out. Hey guys, I'm Cam and welcome back to Shredcraft RC. And if you've been following the channel for a couple of months, you would have seen that I've been working on a new project for the MST FRX RS. I'm calling it the front motor project. Over the past couple of months, we designed and set up and had some prototypes made of the FRX RS chassis. And as you can see, I have this one disassembled because something special came in today. This is my first carbon prototype of the FRX RS for the front motor project. I believe this to be the world's first front motor rear wheel drive RC drift car with an integrated roll cage that's bolted directly to the chassis. Now this has been a process of design, going from a two-dimensional computer designed chassis into a vinyl cut template all the way to the aluminum prototype and now to a potential final product of a carbon fiber RC drift car. So what I want to do today is compare the weights of these carbon fiber pieces to the aluminum pieces and see how much weight that we're saving, build the car up, get some final facts and figures, and then go test it out on the track and see if we've actually made a significant performance increase. Just by the initial feeling of this chassis deck, I can tell it's significantly lighter than the 140 gram aluminum 7075 chassis we previously cut. So I'm really excited to start getting some parts and pieces bolted up to this. Let's dive right in and check it out. We already know that the main deck previously with the 7075 aluminum weighed 140 grams. So let's start with the main chassis deck here and see what it weighs just bare carbon. Now this is 2mm 2x2 twill carbon fiber. Look at that. Nearly 100 gram reduction by a simple material change. So I can already tell that this is going to be a significant improvement over the previous heavy aluminum chassis. 46 grams on the stock chassis deck. And let's just take a look at a single front arm mount bulkhead brace. 10 grams, and that is after we shaved weight off of that by sanding them down. So 10 grams on a single arm brace. And let's do the same one to keep the continuity. 3 grams. Let's see if both of them are lighter than one. Yeah. 7 grams for the pair of the carbon fiber front bulkhead braces, when the pair of the aluminum braces has 21 grams. 20 grams. The other piece that we're able to measure is the stock battery tray. A lot of things mount to this, and this one was a little lighter because it was made out of 2mm 6061 aluminum. And we are at 22 grams. Let's take a look at the carbon fiber piece. 13 grams. Saving a lot of weight here. And now the parts I didn't have made out of aluminum were the side braces, but we can take a look at the stock pair or stock side brace. Right around 8 grams. If we take a look at the integrated roll cage side brace piece, we're at 11 grams. Of course, there's more material, it's a larger structure, and then for the pair, 23 grams. And with that top roll cage, we're going to have the top part of the cage, which is going to key into the slot here, and once we get the chassis built, you'll be able to see it complete. But that piece also weighs 8 grams. So it's cool to see that we're already saving a significant amount of weight here. So I'm going to continue disassembling this and start assembling this, and we'll be able to check out some of the final facts and see just how much weight we were able to save by going from aluminum to a carbon fiber chassis. The next step that I'm going to do is remove the motor mount, and the transmission as one unit since it's connected by this aluminum drive shaft here. So I've already switched to some titanium hardware and some of the parts where I've found it to be applicable, and I'm just going to start removing some of these screws. So I think I got that lined up good enough to start. I'm just going to lightly thread these in before I tighten them. So just 2-finger tight just to hold it in there. I'll snug those up. Push this whole assembly forward and do the rear. So I do run a 1mm shim under the rear. Now that the toe blocks are on, I can go ahead and flip over the chassis, and then the transmission has these key points on both sides, front and rear, and so those just need to settle into their spots. Pull out all my screws for them. And there we have the basic setup. So now it does feel like I do have a little play. Maybe the holes, I know on the aluminum deck I had the center transmission holes maybe a little too far spaced out, but this actually has some play in it. There's no more tight spot. Feels nice and smooth. Now when I was talking about things that I changed, what I did do was in essence lower the roll center by increasing the height at where the camber arm mounts on the rear. So I do have spacers under the ball cup there to raise that up. Effectively that's changing the camber gain under squat, but keeping the wheel more consistent as it's leaned over and drifting. I'm probably going to get some of the smaller bits bolted onto the chassis and come back to you guys on camera so I'm not boring you while I'm just putting screws in. We'll get back when I have a more complete looking chassis here. I will show you the process of bolting on the roll cage portion, which is one aspect that makes this chassis pretty unique to anything else out there on the market. I'll get back with you guys here in just a second. I am nearing completion here on the FRX here, and I was going to show you guys the cage assembly that mounts onto the chassis braces here. So what we have here is 2mm carbon fiber, and there is a key slot here at the top of the roof bar where the roof plate keys into, and this whole piece mounts onto the side braces in the factory mounting locations. So I'm going to go ahead and get that bolted up and we'll see what it looks like once it's all secured onto the chassis here. And here it is all bolted together with the integrated side rail roll cage. You're still able to slide your battery in and out from the rear here. Still able to access the gyro and all your electronics. Some other things that I included on this were some other mounting hole locations in case you were wanting to bolt in a dashboard to cover up the front area. That is an option that's available here, and it's something I'm going to try here in the future. And then a potential area to put a 90-degree mount in order to mount a seat into this window frame location. So let me grab the body and just show you that a body will still mount up having the A-pillar and B-pillar roll cage here. We'll throw a battery in it, throw some wheels on it, and get it on the scales and see how much lighter it is than the aluminum chassis here. Here's the S13 1-via. The same mounts that I ran before. Everything bolts up and then you're able to see the cage in there. It is quite a bit smaller just because the chassis is narrower than the width of the body, but when you take it off you have a cool looking roll cage onto the chassis. I've got the scales set up here. Previously we were at 1352 with the aluminum chassis and a battery in the car. So I've got these zeroed out. Set it down on the scales here, and we're at 1242. Looks like it's settling 40% front and 60% rear, so pretty good weight distribution. I'm going to get a screen capture and I will put that up on the screen here, but not too bad for the carbon fiber FRX conversion. So that's going to wrap up the assembly process for the FRX RS carbon conversion that I did here. I think the next step is to get it out on track and see how this thing feels compared to the aluminum chassis. So let's take it out. So I just got back from the track with the first drive with the carbon fiber FRX RS here, and I hope you guys enjoyed some of that footage, some of the running footage. And I gotta say, it was definitely noticeable how much lighter the chassis was and how much more nimble it was, which also led to some problems, not so much problems, but having to retune the car to adjust for the lighter weight of the chassis. And that led to some tuning changes to compensate for having less weight on the chassis and how the car drove on track, especially with driving on a concrete track where very minute changes can make a big difference in how the car feels and how the car performs. And I'm not quite there yet. I still think there are some things I want to change and some things I need to do in order to get it driving more accurately. I was definitely having some problems in the front end, and some things that I noticed were that the car wouldn't go to full angle when turning left, and the knuckle would almost stop slightly before the stopper hit the lower arm. So I think there are some alignment changes and some tuning to be done on the front end, especially to get some more grip there. And then on the rear end, like I was saying earlier, I added the spacer on the camber arm to raise it up and lower the roll center. In before, I believe I had a 5mm spacer, and now I'm down to a 3mm spacer. But when you do that, you do need to adjust the rear camber. So there are some changes I still need to make and some fine tuning that needs to be done. I've got to give a big shout out to Greg, who was driving while I was filming those clips. It allowed me to get some more unique shots rather than just having the camera static sitting on the side of the track, which can get kind of boring sometimes. But yeah, I gotta say, I'm definitely really happy to have the physical carbon chassis in my hands. It's cool after looking at the design files for a month or so on the computer and then waiting a couple weeks for these to go through production and get shipped out to me. It's really cool to have the end product right here and be able to drive it, especially over the past couple months where you guys have been influential in the design aspect of this and sharing your guys' knowledge with the FRX as well, giving me some insight into how to get this chassis dialed in. So the process still continues and there's still some more work to be done, but overall I'm really happy with the files and I'm happy with how this has all come together. So if you guys are a fan of the FRX, make sure to check out the Discord link. I started a group for like-minded individuals, designers, tuners of the FRX, and it's kind of a place where we can all share our knowledge, things like that, pertaining to the FRX itself. Moving forward, I think I'm to a point where I'm ready to start accepting the pre-orders for the chassis. If you or anyone you know who has an FRX are interested in this chassis, be sure to comment down below, join the Discord group, and get on the pre-order list. That being said, I also have a bunch of affiliate links down below in the description for the FRX chassis, all the electronics I'm using, the tools I'm using, all the way to the alignment rack, the scales, and things like that. So if you guys need any tools, if you need any electronics, if you need a chassis kit, be sure to check those links out. They don't cost you anything to use, but they do help the channel out. And I really appreciate everyone who uses those links. I just want to say thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Let me know what you think down in the comments below. Be sure to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe for more awesome RC content from Shredcraft RC. I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace.